Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. Shay, Bowser, Babe, thanks for being here. Matt, thank you so much for becoming a member. You're officially a thinker. You're officially a thinker on YouTube and on DLive. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. So this live stream is going to be interesting because I do not know a lot about this case, so I'm obviously very far behind on it because it started in, or not started, but it happened in 2017. So I'm still researching it and delving into it, like the title says. So I'm just gonna read pretty much from Wikipedia, in case anybody is not familiar. I'm a little bit familiar with the story simply from being in the true crime community. I've heard people start to talk about it, and then it kind of dies down, and then some new information comes out, and then all the creators start talking about it again. So I've heard a little bit from that here and there, but I don't know like details as much as I do like the Watts case or the Gabby Petito case, or those other cases that I've covered. So but I try to I try to go into these cases not what is the word I'm looking for? Hey, Red, aka Vicky, thanks for being here. I try to go into these cases without a biased opinion. I don't, again, if you're familiar with my channel, you guys know that I'm covering these cases that are these true crime cases that get all this mainstream media attention, that come with many red flags and many inconsistencies, and ones that I believe that the mainstream media and our government are orchestrating for for multiple agendas. Now, am I claiming that every single one right off the bat is just, if it gets a lot of mainstream media attention, that it's fake or that it's orchestrated? No. So like I said, I try to go into these with an unbiased opinion and try to look at the narrative and stuff first. But then if I start to see like those characteristics that I always tell you guys about, then that's when I'm going to start looking at it from a different perspective. Hey, TCA. And I just like I'd like to thank TCA as one of the creators that has now got me down this Delphi rabbit hole. So thank you, Allison, so much for that. Another one is Alex Erickson, and there's one other channel, and I can't remember the name right now, so forgive me, but it'll come to me. Maybe Allison can help me out with that. But yeah, so I'd just like to thank you ladies for doing that. That's all I need, is to go down another rabbit hole. I'm already down too many rabbit holes, let alone another one. But since I am technically in the true crime community, I'm going to cover some true crime cases. Now, there are some interesting things about this case that I find kind of off, but it's too early, obviously, to say whether or not I think that it's orchestrated or not. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today is going to be factual, or I don't want to say factual, coming from what is claimed to be factual from the mainstream media. So like Wikipedia, which is not a great source either. But it's also going to be my opinions just in general on the case. So please don't take anything I say as, or not anything, but everything I say is factual, because again, I don't know too much about this case. So, and maybe you guys can help me out that know more about it than I do, because like I said, I'm very new to it. Yeah, if you could, Shay, that'd be great. If anybody, TCA, that'd be great. And I'll just kind of we're just going to try and get caught up, and we'll just delve into a little bit. I'm not really sure, again, quite exactly why this case got brought up again. If it was some new information that came out as far as a suspect or something. I'm not really sure. I saw a couple of videos where it was only a month ago. There might be a new suspect or a person of interest. But then again, like I said, I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to read from Wikipedia, so that if anybody is not familiar with the case, then we can kind of get a background story of the narrative. Steph, yes, support with Steph, right? Is the channel name? Thank you, Allison. TCA. Do you want me to call you TCA or Allison? I don't want people in chat to get confused. I know that you won't get confused, but so that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and start with that. I had like a bunch of chocolate, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna eat dinner afterwards. All right. All right, so Wikipedia states on February 14th, 2017, the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German were discovered near the Monon High Bridge Trail, which is part of the Delphi Historic Trails in Delphi, Indiana, United States. After the young girls had disappeared from the same trail the previous day. The murders have received significant media coverage because a video and audio recording of an individual believed to be the girl's killer were found on German's smartphone. Despite thousands of tips that have been sent to the police and the circulation of the recordings of the suspect, no arrest in the case has been made. So this is one of those things that I look out for. It's one of those characteristics in an orchestrated event when certain cases over others get so much mainstream media attention, that's the ones that I'm going to focus, obviously, my attention on, because it's to me, it doesn't make sense why certain, I mean, it does make sense, but if you look at it from not my, like, conspiracy theory perspective, if it's just like, if you don't know about the orchestrated events and you're just a regular person that believes in mainstream media, why is it that only certain cases get so much mainstream media attention over, others when there's so many missing persons, there's so many homicides, there's so many deaths. So why is it that only some get so much mainstream media attention? And that's what I like to focus on. So right off the bat, I saw earlier today, and it says on Wikipedia how much widespread media attention it gained and so quickly. That's one of those red flags that I look out for. Now, does that necessarily mean that it's orchestrated? No. It could just simply caught the attention of the media and many people because of the small town or whatever, and just the suspect's image being released and whatnot. So again, I'm not saying that every single one of these is orchestrated. It's definitely too early for me to say that. This one did because it was such a rare event, Shay says. Yeah, and that totally could be the case. It could 100% be a real case. But that's what we're gonna look into. I mean, as of right now, I will say, like, I haven't, I'm noticing some numbers. I'm noticing some these double-digit letters that are coming in all these individuals' names in the cases and little stuff like that. I did watch like an HLN Part 1 documentary. I think there's probably like 5 parts to it or something. I did watch that earlier, and I'm not getting like that sense of like an orchestrated event so far, but there's also other things that I've seen just from watching other channel creators over time that's being mentioned, like that we'll probably get into a little bit, but just for example, like the fact that it just so happens that Abigail, or I don't remember which one it was it Abby or Libby? I think it was Libby that caught the guy, the bridge guy, but then there's just certain things that are kind of like making me wonder. Now, it could simply just be like some sort of weird cover-up from the Indiana Police Department or Delphi Police Department. I just don't know. It's too early. So like I said, I'm getting caught up. I'm very far behind because it happened in 2017. But since it's being brought up again, I figured I would delve into it. And I know that some of you guys have asked me to cover it as well. So it's pronounced Monan. Monan? Monan. I don't know. Okay, Shay, thank you. All right. So it says at 1:35 p.m. on Monday, February 13th, 2017. See, and there's these 13s. Like, that's just something I look out for. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean it, but that's just how my brain works. February 13th, 2017, 13-year-old Abigail Joyce Abby Williams and 14-year-old Liberty Rose Lynn Libby German were dropped off by the German's older sister, Kelsey German, on County Road 300 North, east of the Hoosier Heartland Highway, or Hoosier. Did I say it wrong again, Shay? Libby got the picture. Okay. Thank you, Allison. Now, they're not like biological sisters, right? The mom, correct me if I'm wrong, of one of the girls was working a few hundred miles away or something in another state or in another city, and one of the girls was just happened, they just took her in, right? Is that correct? I just want to make sure that I have that right. Okay, so the girls were hiking on the Monan. Is that, even though it's an O? Okay, interesting. Monan. That's going to sound weird. All right. High Bridge over Deer Creek among woodland in remote Deer Creek Township. At 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a photo of Abby walking the bridge. After this, they were not heard from again. They were reported missing at 5:30 p.m. after they failed to meet Liberty's father at 3:15 p.m. The families initially searched for the girls themselves before calling the police. Authorities who quickly searched the area did not initially suspect foul play in the disappearance. However, this changed when the bodies of the girls were found around noon the next day, about 0.5 miles east of the abandoned Monan High Bridge. The bodies were found on the north bank of Deer Creek. Okay, so I don't know if you guys could see in the thumbnail, but Monan. Okay, see, now you have me. I was like, is he sure it's Monan? Moanon. Okay. We're just going to say the Mo Bridge. We're just going to say the rickety old bridge, which I'm going to get into right now. Just my opinion, this is just odd to me. Why on earth, as like a parent or an older sister, and I just don't get this. If you see the bridge, I mean, it is like dilapidated. It is run down. It is rickety. It is very dangerous. It's obviously the train. It's decommissioned. It's not a working track anymore. Bridge. There's no railings on it. It's very high. It looks very high to me. Why on earth would you let your kids, like, I don't care how old they are, even if they're teenagers, why would you want them or allow them to play or to go and in that area and hang out on that bridge? To me, that just seems like, I mean, I don't want to say bad parenting, but if you see the bridge, it's very, very dangerous. And it's and I think that it's even supposed to be closed off to the public because it's so dangerous. But knowing that that's where the older sister was going to drop them off and they allowed it is kind of bizarre to me. But that's just my opinion. If I had kids, I would be like, no, you're not going to go hang out on that bridge. Like, it's super dangerous. So good luck with that. But that's just me. Are you on your phone, babe? Why are you on your phone, you weirdo? All right. Says police have not released details of how the girls were murdered, which I find interesting. As early as February 15, 2017, Indiana State Police began circulating a still image of an individual. Let me scroll up. Reportedly seen on the Moanon. Is it see, Shay, now you messed me up. I'm just going to say the Mo Bridge, the Mo High Bridge trail near where the two friends were slain. The grainy photograph appears to capture a Caucasian male, hands in pockets, walking on the rail bridge, head down toward the girls. A few days later, the person in the photograph was named the prime suspect in the double homicide. On February 22nd, law enforcement released an audio recording where the voice of the suspect, though in some degree muffled, is heard to say "down the hill." It was at this news conference that officials credited the source of the audio and imagery to German's smartphone and further regarded her as a hero for having had the uncanny foresight and fortitude to record the exchange in secret. Police indicated that additional evidence from the phone had been secured, but they did not release it so as not to compromise any future trial, which makes sense to me because we don't see that with the Watts case. So that's why I'm not really getting the feeling that it's so far orchestrated. Indiana's a beautiful state. I bet it is. I haven't been anywhere further than Texas. I think I've been to like Texas, California, New Mexico. I drove through Colorado and Mexico. Rocky Point, Mexico, and that's it. So I would love to like see a lot more states. That would be nice. Maybe one day. It is bizarre. Hey, Prider Honesty, good to see you. Think for yourself is going to have a field day with all the strange law enforcement and government behaviors in this case. Also, the unsolved Flora fire near Delphi is just as strange in regards to law enforcement. Really? I didn't hear about a fire. But like, so as far as like the police not releasing the information, I did find that odd, as I felt like if you want help from the public, if you want to try to find this guy, why wouldn't you be as transparent as possible in order to find who did this to these girls, right? But then coming from like the Watts case, they didn't hide anything. And, you know, it just so happened that he confessed and, you know, nobody's personal information was protected in case it did go to trial, in case there were witnesses. So it was almost like in the Watts case, they already knew that Chris Watts was going to, you know, confess and take a plea deal. It's very interesting, right? How convenient. Because with as much mainstream media attention as the Chris Watts case got, it would, to me, you know, compromise any trial if he did indeed go to trial, right? It's a case went to trial. But again, how convenient that it didn't, right? So it doesn't matter that all this information was released. It couldn't compromise a trial. Like I said, it was almost like they knew that there wasn't gonna be a trial. So I get that as far as the police not releasing that sort of like every information about that. But like I said, why not release as much information in order to help find who that person was on the bridge? And if, you know, the more information, the better, so that the public can help find out what happened to these girls, right? But I have heard through, you know, different, just peeking in on different channels and watching different live streams on this Delphi case, that the police are not being cooperative at all. Like, it's just very sketchy. Four little girls died in a house fire near Delphi 1 year before the Delphi murders, also unsolved. Also, some of the same characters in law enforcement and fire department linked to it. Interesting. Shay says, ever heard of the band Black Oak, Arkansas? The song Jim Dandy. Ruby Poole is from I have not heard of that song, but who's Ruby Poole? And where's Flora? Again, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this case, so bear with me. Okay, so it says on July 17th, officers. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this. The reward offered in the case was set to $41,000. Okay, on July 17th, officers distributed a composite sketch of someone who, at the time in the investigation, was sought as a person of prime interest in the murders. It had apparently been drawn by police from eyewitnesses to a certain hiker of the Delphi historic trails on the day the girls vanished. On April 19th, 2019, Indiana State Police announced a new direction in the case. On behalf of state police and the multi-agency task force, Superintendent Doug Carter released more materials a few days later in a press conference held on April 22nd, which we're going to watch a little bit of. I think it is the 22nd one. Okay. The new materials included a short video recording in which the blue-jeaned and jacketed suspect is seen walking along the rail bridge for a little over a second. Superintendent Carter states that because of the deteriorated condition of the bridge, The suspect is not walking naturally due to the space between the ties. So this part I found interesting as well because, hey Lou, with him looking down, like, so if Libby took this from her phone, it doesn't look to me like he's that far away from Libby and Abby. So how does this guy, like, why is he looking down? This suspect, right? Or this guy on the bridge guy. Hey, apple of his eye. Oh, I'm working on it, Allison. He's gonna see. But he's pretty awake. Already, so that's good. But it doesn't seem to me like they're that far away from him. And so did the bridge guy not see, like, why is there no him face, like, did he not look up and see the girls and she didn't get that? Did she only take it when he was looking down and she put the phone away? To me, it's like, it's certain things like that where how convenient that his face is down and he's not looking up at the camera, and just certain things like that kind of grab my attention. He's watching his step. That makes sense too. Well, those people shouldn't be on that bridge anyways. What are they, idiots? I'm just kidding. Sorry. But I mean, it is a very unsafe bridge, and like I said, I don't think that, do I keep saying like I said? I should probably stop saying that. I'll work on that. I'm pretty sure that there is supposed to be, obviously someone could just walk over it, but I thought that no one from the public or civilians were allowed to be near that bridge because of the condition of the bridge. And yeah, no railings, definitely, Shay. An updated sketch of the suspect, let me go up here, was also unveiled, as well as an extended version of the audio recording, in which a slight rise in the suspect's voice can be detected as he utters the word guys before the phrase down the hill. It was further explained that the previously released sketch showing an older man with goatee and cap is now considered secondary. By contrast, the clean-shaven individual of the newly revised composite is the primary sketch of the prime suspect. Okay. Police say this person may range from 18 to 40. 18 to 40? That's kind of a wide range. But caution that his youthful appearance could make him look younger than his true. Where is the sketch coming from if his face is down and not in the camera? Or do police have something more that we haven't seen that they haven't released? This is why I don't have kids, Bowser says. I would be paranoid about my kids, 14 and 15, being out alone on their own in this world we live in. Yeah, very scary. There are a lot of trails and river spots. It's quite busy most of the time. This was a slow day. Okay, because on the HLN documentary that I watched, and not that I believe everything the HLN says, but what they had said was that, like, tourists are not allowed in there, or they don't go there anymore. I thought maybe they didn't say allowed. I could be wrong. But I thought that it was supposed to be just because of the condition of the bridge and everything that no one is supposed to go on there. But so someone in chat can help me. How did they get this composite sketch of this bridge guy or the suspect, the prime suspect in the case, if his face was down? Or, as I stated before, do they have more video footage? Do they have more video footage from Libby's phone that they're not releasing? Or was there another witness that gave this composite sketch? All right, so it goes on to say investigators revealed that they have reason to believe that the suspect might be hiding in plain sight and that the person is almost certainly familiar with the area of Delphi, whether it be from living or working there or for another reason. An additional plea was made for helping in identifying the driver of a vehicle left abandoned off the, I'm going to say this word wrong again, its name wrong, the Hoosier, or is it just Hoosier? Heartland Highway in Delphi at the former Child Services office between noon and 5 p.m. on the day of the murders. And Shay, this is clearly a small town, right? I thought that the HLN documentary said that it was like 3,000 people in this city, like roughly. Oh yeah, for sure, Apple of his eye. But why are they? It's like they keep cherry picking what they want to release, and then and I'm sure there's probably a reason for it, but why not release the whole audio footage before, like, at first, instead of just releasing bits of it? And that's also one of those like red flags I look out for. If they're dropping it in like data dumps, I like to call, it's one of those, how like they did with the Watts case. They did like the first discovery, there was like a second discovery data dump, then you had Shanann's footage coming home that should have been released with the discovery in the first place. So when they do these in parts, that's a red flag that goes up for me. You would have thought less? Okay. I could be wrong again on that, but I know that's very small. Okay, so persons of interest. On July 23rd, 2019, Paul Eder was wanted for the kidnapping and rape of a 26-year-old woman on June 22nd on Tippecanoe. What's with these names? Like, is it just me, or is let me guess, it's Tippecanoe? Am I saying it wrong, Shay? Tippecanoe County, 5 days later. Eder was surrounded by police, and after a 5-hour standoff, he died by suicide. Well, that's wonderful. Okay. Daniel J. Nations, a registered sex offender from Indiana, was arrested in Woodland Park, Colorado. That's interesting to me, Colorado. Okay. In September 2017, and charged with threatening strangers on a monument trail with a hatchet. The expired Indiana plates on the car Nations was driving was noticed by police, who subsequently discovered an outstanding warrant under his name. Fanning public speculation still further, it was reported that a bicyclist had been fatally shot on the same trail at around the time that Nations was purportedly terrifying passers-by. An El Paso County Sheriff's spokesman told reporters that, however, many similarities there were between the cases. He was not at liberty to disclose them since Indiana investigators did not want any more information released. Hey, Support with Steffa. I was just talking about you. Good to see you. I was saying how I was blaming you and Alex and TCA Allison for sending me down this rabbit hole, so thank you. No, but it's a very interesting case. You trust police? No, you don't. You sarcastic. I don't trust police. Now, I'm not saying that all police are bad and corrupt, but corruption's everywhere, unfortunately. All right. On January 5th, 2018, Nations was sentenced to 3 years of probation for threatening members of the public in Colorado. However, he was not released since he had an active warrant out on him back in Indiana. On January 24th, Nations was transferred to Indiana's officials' custody on an unrelated charge, failure to register as a sex offender. In early February 2018, authorities said that Nations was no longer considered an active person of interest in the Delphi murders. Thomas Bruce, sorry, let me slow down here. Hey, Maria. who has formerly worked as a pastor, is charged with fatally shooting one woman and sexually assaulting two others after having ordered them at gunpoint into the back room of a suburban St. Louis shop for religious supplies. Committed in broad daylight on November 19, 2018, these crimes put Bruce in the spotlight of the press. Some noted his being of similar stature, 5'7" to 5'9". To then current suspect description in the Delphi slangs. They're calling him the Delphi slangs? Or is that something different? Is the Delphi slangs the same as the Delphi murders? Also, his wearing a flat cap and navy blue jacket during this attack, not unlike the suspect in the Delphi case. Okay, so are those different? Carroll County is corrupt. Looked up the Flora fire that happened 4 months before the Delphi murders. Yeah, that was actually just brought up by Pride or Prejudice. What is it? I can't remember. I'm sorry. It just gets crazier. Okay, so, and it seems like a lot of these, and not Pride or Prejudice, Pride or Honesty, sorry. I'm botching names tonight. It seems like a lot of these smaller towns seem to have a lot of corruption. I wonder why that is. It's interesting. Okay, so on December 4th, Bruce was charged with no fewer than 17 felony counts related to the St. Louis case and could receive the death penalty. Okay. Charles Edridge was arrested on January 8, 2019 in Union City, Indiana on charges of child molestation and child solicitation. Lovely. Police in Randolph County alerted the FBI to a potential link between Edridge and the Delphi murders on account of his strong resemblance to the suspect's sketch. This was, however, before the updated composite had been released. And again, I'd like to know where they got this composite sketch if the guy on the bridge was facing down. And I'm sure that Steffa can help me with that too. Okay, so they're calling it the Delphi Slayers and the Delphi murders. What's a hair hole? Are you talking about a rabbit hole, babe? Smaller town, less eyeballs. You want a corrupted small town? Come on over. I got a story for you, Shay says. Interesting. It sure does seem that way, though. For, like I said, for whatever reason. And I actually, now that I think about it, I spoke to, and I covered this on the Watts case, and I made a video about it. But I talked to a psychiatrist that actually had testified many times in the Colorado, for 30 years in the Colorado court system. And I interviewed him, and he, before I could even go into any conspiracy questions, he told me, he said, if it's a small town, those small towns, and it's specifically Colorado, but again, to me, it seems like for a lot of these small towns, in Colorado, especially on the outskirts, he told me that they pretty much make their own laws. And they can get away with it more compared to like if you were in a main city or like busy city like Denver. Those small, for whatever reason, like I said, they're very corrupt and make up their own laws, and nothing is by the book pretty much. No, I know that slangs is just another word for murder, but I just didn't know if they were calling it. It was just weird how they stated it in the paragraph. There's a public execution going on right now. The only other double homicide was in Libby's family in the 80s. Wait, so they have had murder before in the family before that? And they still lived in that. Okay, that's weird. Is that another rabbit hole that I'm going to have to go down? Interesting. Okay. On December. Wait, where did I get start off here? Wait, well, what are these? Oh, it's a little pictures. Okay. I don't remember where I left off now. Oh, okay. On April 27th, 2021, Indiana State Police detectives names James Brian Chadwell II as a new person of interest in the Delphi murders. Okay, so no wonder this case keeps getting brought up because they keep saying that they're finding potential suspects, right? On December 9th, 2021, Indiana State Police were looking for anyone who had social media contact with someone using the profile name Anthony Schatz from 2016 to 2017. Investigators say the profile could be connected to the Delphi investigation and that the profile was confirmed to have belonged to a 27-year-old man named Keegan Anthony Klein. Okay, so that's the newest suspect. Hi, Pink Dahlia. Hey, Stephanie. Of Peru, Indiana, who is currently in jail awaiting trial for 30 alleged crimes, including child exploitation, possession of child pornography, child solicitation for sexual intercourse, and obstruction of justice. Klein set up the fake social media accounts, which he used photos of an unknown male model to catfish potential underage victims. Kelsey German, Libby's sister, said of Klein being a potential suspect. I think in the past, when there were names put out in the media, that was more the media putting them out there, but I think this is the first time we've ever seen police put out any sort of name about a potential suspect. Thank you so much, Pink Dahlia, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well. Libby's sister seems to have a lot to say about this as well. I mean, it is their sister, but German also said that she long believed that social media didn't have anything to do with the case, but said she now has reconsidered things, saying, Libby never told me anything about anybody contacting her online. But since the latest release happened, it just made me think that even if she had told us or if we would have said something, then she'd have likely kept messaging anyway because teenagers like to hide things, unfortunately. Okay, memorials. And that's all it says in Wikipedia. You think the killer was a cop? So you're thinking, Stephanie, that guy on the bridge has nothing to do with it? Sorry guys, my kitty wants out. This is like the worst time to stream. I don't know why I stream at this time. He always wants to go outside at this time. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. You think the guy on the bridge was a cop? Oh, okay. Interesting. So I'm gonna play this conference from from February 22nd, 2017. And see what we got going on here.
So at this time, I would like to invite Indiana State Police Superintendent Douglas Carter to the podium.
Words tend to escape during these periods of times, and I've only had a couple of other situations in my lifetime where I'm able to stand before you and say that. Why Libby? Why Abby? Why Delphi? Why Carroll County? Why the region? Why the state? Why even in the nation? I say that because this is a classic example and a clear example that evil lives amongst us. To the family, to the community, the region, the state, as a leader of the Indiana State Police, I say I am so very sorry. Resources. It's unlikely that any of you will ever see, nor will we ever see or experience again, the level of resources that are attached to this investigation. To the media, my gosh, all I can say is this, give you my sincere thanks. See, this isn't like TV. There's a perception that this can be solved very quickly. Anything that we do can be solved very quickly, but this is a testament that it can't. To the media, my gosh, all I can say is this, give you my sincere thanks. See, this isn't like TV. There's a perception that this can be solved.
Okay, did you guys see that? Do you guys see this guy? If you guys can see my mouse, you probably can't. But the guy with the suit and the tie over here, do you see when he says that this isn't TV, how he smiles? I found that very strange. Let's rewind that a little bit. I gotta work on YouTube hotkeys here. Oh, yeah, right, babe?
To this investigation. To the media. My gosh, all I can say is this, give you my sincere thanks.
Watch his face when he says it's not TV.
See, this isn't like TV. There's a perception that this can be.
Isn't that kind of weird? Let's do it one more time.
Sorry. Resources. It's unlikely that any of you will ever see, nor will we ever see or experience again, the level of resources that are attached.
Did I not rewind it far enough?
Our investigation that we're not going to release
shit.
today.
Words tend to escape during these periods of times, and I've only had a couple of other situations in my lifetime where I'm able to stand before you and say that. Why Libby? Why Abby? Why Delphi? Why Carroll County? Why the region? Why the state? Why even in the nation? I say that because this is a classic example and a clear example that evil lives amongst us. To the family, to the community, the region. Okay,
well, I messed it up, but I think that I just found that weird when he said this is not television, and the guy to his right made that weird smile. Very strange to me. Something else that I have a problem with is, okay, I get it. It's a small town. They're not used to these murders happening or, homicide or crime, and so they're upset that it's happening in their city or in their community, in their county. But isn't it a law enforcement's job to state the facts of what's going on? It's not their job to sway the emotions of the public, or in the opinions. He's really pulling at heartstrings now. Why Libby? Why Abby? Why our town? It's just very, to me, unprofessional. It's not law enforcement's job, in my opinion, to point out the sadness of the story. They're there to let the public know what's going on with the case and what happened. Leave that pulling at heartstrings and that propaganda up to the mainstream media. Does that make sense? Am I far off on that? It just, to me, I don't understand that. I don't Just like when DA Rourke did it and he was just pulling at the heartstrings and the poor Ruseks. And it's like, your job, Rourke, is not to go there, not to like give emotional speeches. You're there to talk about the case, notify the public about what's going on for their safety, and so on and so forth. So why is it so emotional coming from law enforcement when we should just be seeing that from the mainstream media? Like, if the mainstream media wants to make it all emotional and pull at heartstrings and make it sad, then fine. But I don't want to hear that from a police department or law enforcement. I want to hear the facts. Yeah, and I completely understand that, Shay. And they're shocked by it, and I understand that. But again, it's not law enforcement's like job to pull at heartstrings and make everything emotional. It's their job to state the facts about the case, and that's it, in my opinion. Hey, Christy. And you're going to see him really hype up his whole team here, too, in a second, which I found interesting.
Region of the state. As a leader of the Indiana State Police, I say I am so very sorry. Resources. It's unlikely that any of you will ever see, nor will we ever see or experience again, the level of resources that are attached to this investigation. To the media. My gosh, all I can say is to give you my sincere thanks. See, this isn't like TV. There's a perception.
Oh, there it is again.
Anything that we do can be solved very quickly, but this is a testament that it can't, and we need you. We've needed you since last week. We need you today. We need you tomorrow. And likely we'll need the media all across this nation. So from a simple guy like me to you, I say thank you. To the people dressed funny like me and those that represent the law enforcement profession, please understand we're human beings just like you. Stand anywhere in the nation.
The excuse used usually is that it creates a sense of calm within the community when law enforcement can relate, but it's just a way to take heat off, distract. Yeah, I agree.
But I also want you to understand
I'll turn it up,
we are
Shay.
as a collective one, and we will continue. This has been briefed all the way up to the director of the FBI, Director Comey, and Greg Mass is going to talk a little bit about that. I've had an opportunity to speak to my boss, Governor Eric Holcomb, a couple different times about this situation. And every time I do, I see this look that comes over his face, just like yours in this community's. And that's the unfortunate experience of experiencing evil. We're not stopping.
Oh, and don't get me started on Comey.
The poster in front of you. Someone knows who this individual is. Someone knows who this individual is. Is it a family member? Is it a neighbor? Is it an acquaintance? Is it an associate? Or maybe that one guy that lives over at that one place that just kind of not right. Maybe it's his jeans. Maybe it's his jacket or his sweatshirt. Maybe it's his shirt tail. Maybe it's his posture. Maybe it's the right hand in his pocket. You see, even with technology, we need human intelligence. In other words, we need you. I'm not suggesting that science, that everything that we can do as science has been done, because we are just getting started. Abby and Libby deserve us. They deserve every single one of us, and not just the people standing up here on the stage that have given.
See, and this like, and it's not because I'm not empathetic. It's not because I don't care. It's just this is not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear him hype up his department. I don't want to hear that. To me, it drives me crazy because they're not, police officers are not there to be empathetic and to like, they're still human, yes. But I want to hear the facts about this case. We're already, 10 minutes in and he's told us nothing about it? He's told us no facts with this press conference. He's barely just got into talking about the guy on the bridge. Why is it taking 10 minutes to tell us what's going on with this investigation? Like, if this was me, not me, but if I lived in that city, in that state, and it was in my community, I don't want to hear that you're sad, sergeant or whatever, or superintendent. I want to hear the facts about the case. Why is it taking you so long to get to the facts?
So much of their lives to not just this, but to this profession.
I mean, am I watching a funeral right now? Is he giving like a memorial speech for them? Like, does he know them like personally? Like, what is going on here? I want to hear the facts about the case. Yeah, there's a ton of theatrics, Shay, and that's what I'm talking about. And you know what I'm like you said, yes, it's shocking. It's a small town. Hardly ever any homicides in it. So yes, a shock factor. But again, their job as law enforcement is to provide the facts to the public about the case. I don't want to hear, all this like this pulling at heartstrings and this propaganda and this fear porn that's going on right now from this guy. Like, I'm not trusting him already. I don't like him already. Sorry.
But each and every one of you, each and every person listening, watching, or seeing this in some form, we need you. Libby and Abby need you. Please do not rationalize tips away. Rationalize what you think that might not be important away. By thinking he would never do that to another human being. Or think what I know doesn't matter.
Can we get like some award music, please? And I'm trying to be respectful, because like I said earlier, I do not know enough about this case to make any judgments on it like that. But as far as this guy is concerned, like I said, I don't like this guy. He's very theatrical. He's very over, like, is he going to get to the facts of the case? This is what, the 20th. So this is only a short time after the girls' bodies were found. Tell me some information that I want to hear about this investigation, please.
Let folks like the people that are standing behind me with such incredible passion and commitment and dedication to this profession.
Yeah, I noticed that, babe.
Tips are anonymous.
Yeah, exactly, Christy.
Some
telling us
might
what to
talk about
think.
it because they don't want to get involved. Because they know the individual. Again, he may be a family member. Probably has family. No one will ever know. No one will ever know. There's not an agency on the planet better than helping us facilitate this than the FBI. And they're as entrenched in this as anybody. No one will.
Here's another one of those characteristics that I told you guys to look out for. When the case becomes federal, when it's not a federal case, why do these cases, in my opinion, that I pointed out that are orchestrated, not saying that this one is, but why does the FBI always get involved in cases that are not federal? That's one of those that's one of the characteristics and the red flags that I have on that list that I'm going to do a live stream about, and we're going to go over those again with the Watts case and these other orchestrated events.
We'll know. As poor as this picture is, somebody knows. And if you're watching, we'll find you. Who's next? I hate to ask you that question. I'd give my life to not have to.
Oh, and I agree, Shay. You know, like I said, I don't know a lot about the case, but just from coming into it with not even knowing a lot, just from watching this guy, I don't like you said, his theatrics. Like, I feel like he's giving a speech. He's not telling us facts. Everything's written down. What's the speech and the theatrics about? Like, just say it how it is. Why does he have to have a speech written in front of him to address the public? Is he the president? I'm not understanding that. I don't like what I'm seeing so far, anyways. He reminds you of Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Is that a movie? I've never seen that movie. He does sound like he's giving a performance rather than simply providing information. And I agree. And hello, Anne. And the overacting award goes to Red Sky Black. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Hey, Tumbleweed. And that could be the case too, that kids are involved. But again, I want to hear the facts from this guy. I don't want to hear him, just being emotional. Like, you're law enforcement. Like, you're not here. Leave that to mainstream media to pull at the heartstrings and push the propaganda and sway the emotions of the public. Don't, tell me the facts of this investigation. Hey, Lofo. And Shay, I understand that too, but I mean, he's supposed to be professional. This is his job. He's supposed to be a professional at this. So the fact that things like that are getting to him seems like not very professional on his part. But just my opinions again.
But I know you've asked yourself that very question. We must recognize it. You see, we're all the same. We're all human beings. We must keep our resolve for Libby and Abby, for this community, and frankly, to ensure that good trumps evil.
And I don't know why, but that guy to his right, the one that snickered when he said that this isn't a TV show, he looks very familiar to me. I don't know why. It's going to bother me.
And it will. You're going to hear more in just a minute about what we know. Do not discount the voice that you'll hear. We will stay committed with resolve, very, very rarely exhibited with human behavior until this conclusion. Please be patient. Become our partners and communicate with us as often as you can. And now, from a very humble servant, that's the most blessed guy on this planet to represent the profession that I represent, to Abby and Libby. It's my hope and my prayer that you're now experiencing God's promise of eternal peace.
Oh, man. This is just... I can't with this. I can't. This is bothering me so much. I mean, this... the award goes to most theatrical, most or best performance by a superintendent. It's just, he didn't tell us anything. He didn't tell us anything in this news conference or press conference about the case. I mean, it's still 15 minutes left in it or more, but let's continue, shall we? You can't hear him, Shay? It should be loud enough. I did turn...
At this time, I would like to invite Greg Massa, Assistant Special Agent in charge for the FBI, to the podium.
And yeah, the one in the suit in the striped tie looks familiar to me.
Good morning. As the Assistant Special Agent in charge, my role is to supervise and lead the FBI's criminal...
Does anybody know why this case became a federal case? Is anybody in the chat? Can you help me out with that? Yeah, he didn't tell us anything about it, Pink Dahlia.
criminal investigations across the state of Indiana. 9 days ago, we had an agent that was participating in the search for the missing victims, and from that moment until this morning, we have stood shoulder to shoulder with our law enforcement partners here. The FBI plays an important support role in this investigation.
Hey, Lane. Oh, I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you something, and I don't know if you're going to have the answer to this, but I do want to let you know that I am not ignoring your comments in the comment section. I've tried, I tried to heart your comment, and it keeps getting unhearted. Not only is it the heart being removed when I try to do that, I cannot comment back to you. There's no comment box to respond to your comments. I don't know why. I've never seen that before, but I just wanted to let you know, Elaine, that I'm not ignoring your comments by all means. I sent a screenshot to my boyfriend about that, and he's like, I've never seen that before. He said, I have no idea on YouTube. So again, I just want to let you know, Elaine, I'm not ignoring your comments. And I don't know why YouTube won't let me respond to you. But thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here.
This joint investigation. I'm very humbled by the response that the resources that are under my direction have brought, and hopefully the contributions that we're making. On any given day, we have 20 FBI agents that are here providing investigative help, whether that's running down leads, conducting interviews, helping with lead tracking system, providing intelligence analysis support, providing technical assistance. Every night I update our FBI headquarters to our Deputy Assistant Director, and as the Superintendent mentioned, this has been briefed to the FBI Director on 2 occasions. So whatever resource that the FBI has available, whether it's here in the state of Indiana or nationally, we have brought those resources, and we will continue to do so. We were committed to working around the clock, as we have been over the last 9 days, and will continue to do so until this case is solved. To the members of the community, when I met with our behavioral analysis unit and their expertise and their experience, it is oftentimes even unwitting that a member of the community may have information that is germane to this investigation. And I'd like the community to go back 9 days and go back to the afternoon of February 13th, Monday, February 13th, and just think if you had an interaction with an individual who inexplicably canceled an appointment that you had together, or an individual called into work sick and canceled an important appointment or a social engagement, and at the time gave what would have been a plausible explanation. My cell phone broke, or I had a flat tire on my car. But in retrospect, that excuse no longer holds water. That may be important. Likely so are behavioral indicators that this individual may have exhibited since the afternoon of May 13th. Did this individual travel unexpectedly? Did they change their appearance? Did they shave their beard, cut their hair, change the color of their hair? The superintendent mentioned the clothes that this individual was wearing in the photo. Did they change the way they dress? Did their behavior change? Did their sleep pattern is different now? Did they start abusing drugs or alcohol whereas they would not have? Have they been anxious, nervous, irritable? Have they followed this case and what the media is putting out with a sense that is not normal? Have they had ongoing discussions regarding their whereabouts on that afternoon or thereafter? Please, if you have that information, call that into the tip line. After this press conference, the FBI will be putting out a series of these indicators on our social media, so it'll be available not only to the citizens of this community, but across the state of Indiana and then nationally as well. We'll also be utilizing digital billboards, and in any way we can spread this message, we will. I'll just finalize my remarks just to say that to my law enforcement partners behind me, to the community at large, 9 days ago, the FBI stood shoulder to shoulder with you. We're not going anywhere. We will be here until this case is solved, and I am confident this case will be solved. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to
Did the same guy on the side just make a certain symbol with his hands? Interesting. Maybe I'm too skeptical these days. I know, I'm the same way. And I said earlier in the stream before I started that I try to go into these cases with an unbiased opinion because, again, murder is real. I'm not saying that. And of course I have the skeptics, and a certain skeptic shall not be named, but that likes to say, so you think that murder's not real and people don't die and people are... No. I never said that murder is not real. That's absolutely 100% ridiculous. But it doesn't matter what I say. I could say it 100 times that I think murder is 100% real, and that they're just gonna keep posting their comments and saying that I'm crazy and a conspiracy theorist, you know, and I'm just loony. But these guys have charisma of mulch. They do. But it's just, with these cases that are getting this, especially since I know now that they're orchestrating these cases with help of the mainstream media, and these high profile ones that get so much mainstream media attention, it's hard for me not to go in with an unbiased opinion. But I'm going to try to do it, but I'm still going to look out for those red flags, just like I look out for all the other ones now, even though that this was before, because I didn't know that they were orchestrating these high profile true crime cases until the Watts case. So then this happened before the Watts case. So I never, dove into this case. And so I'm going, kind of backwards here, going the opposite way. But there's just certain things so far that I'm seeing that I'm not really liking, and I'm not getting like a quick, like with the Gabby Petito case. I knew that was just right off the bat. Just they're getting very sloppy with it and ridiculous. But I knew right off the bat that Gabby Petito case was orchestrated. It was just so theatrical and over the top. So maybe they're getting sloppier with them. I don't know, but this is too. If anybody just is coming into the chat, I'm not saying that it is or is not orchestrated. It's too soon to tell. I don't know enough about the case yet. Like I do the Chris Watts case that I spent hours and hours and hours researching to come to that conclusion, to say that I'm confident in that. So we're just kind of just going over, and I'm just learning it now. So, but I don't like what I see right now that's coming from law enforcement whatsoever.
to invite Captain Dave Burston, Chief Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police, to the podium.
And so far, they with this press conference, as usual, and I don't understand why they do a lot of these press conferences, because they have told us nothing about the case. No updated information about it 9 days after the fact. It's all this propaganda and this pulling at heartstrings. Again, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear evidence or facts about the case.
Thank you, Tony. We do have some new information for you today. It's in the form of an audio file.
Yeah, I'm glad you found me, Lofo.
From the cell phone.
Oh, here we go.
That Liberty German
Finally
had with her at the time. We're not going to play everything that we have, but Liberty had the presence of mind to turn on her video camera. Again, we're not going to be able to share everything with you, but we are going to share this audio clip with you momentarily with the hope that somebody will recognize this voice. And I want to be very clear that what you're about to hear is just 4 short words. Excuse me, 3 words. Down the hill. You're going to hear this played 4 times. The audio quality is not superb, but there's enough there that somebody could recognize this person's voice. And as Superintendent Carter said, not to rationalize away. If you hear this today and you think, my God, that sounds like fill in the blank, call us. Make an anonymous tip.
Oh, is this who you're referring to, Steph? About the The one that you think is the cop? Interesting.
Tell us who you think it is. Let us investigate it. If it's not the right person, they'll just be out a little bit of time and they'll be cleared and they can go on and they'll never know that you called. But you may tell us who the right person was. And you could be the person that helps us to solve this horrible crime. Micah, play the clip, please. Could you play it one more time?
What did I just listen to? Was that like a? It sounds like a weird washing machine underwater. I don't know what it was. I don't know what I'm listening to. Is this the one where it says down the hill, or is this a different clip?
So that audio clip later today will be available on the Indiana State Police website. You can simply go to our website and add the extension /Delphi.htm. There will be information on that website that talks about the reward that is being collected now. Sergeant Slocum will talk more about that, the amount of money that's been raised towards solving this case. And really, money shouldn't be what drives somebody to help solve this. Just a sense of community and wanting to help and to get this person off the street. The image that you see there of the suspect.
So if they're so passionate about finding and dedicated to finding who did this to Libby and Abby, then why aren't they releasing the entire audio clip at this point? Why only snippets? That I don't understand. I know. I was thinking that too, Red Sky. It's like, why? What's with all the men behind here? Very, very dramatic in my opinion. I
That
agree.
came from Liberty's phone. I think many of you had speculated that before. We weren't prepared to discuss it at the time. We have more video. We're not releasing it. It's
Why
germane
not?
to our investigation. And it's important that we spread that person's voice far and wide for somebody that will recognize who that is and will call us and tell us. I also want to tell you that there will be a tip line.
I think so, Lofo.
There's an email tip line. I'll spell it out for you, and it'll be on the website later, but if you want to copy this down, tips can be emailed to cabibbybtip@cacoshrf.com. So that is Abby and Libby tip at cacoshrf.com. Phone number, email, call the Delphi Police, call the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, call the state police. Help us to capture the person responsible for these murders.
Still
As it
haven't told us
started out,
anything.
We volunteer because we care. I believe that's a way of life here in Carroll County and the Delphi area. As Captain Bursta indicated, we now have monies for a reward. I believe we're in
Did you say we have
upwards to
monies?
around $41,000, with $25,000 being donated by the FBI, $10,000 by the Indiana Packers, a local business. The Andersons have donated $5,000. Indiana Lafayette Savings and Loans has donated $1,000. They do that because they care. We need to solve this case. We have every resource that we can think of to prompt people to give us information. We need to get the murderer of Liberty German and Abigail Williams into custody sooner rather than later. That will be the end of our press conference. As far as speakers at this time, we will entertain questions.
Is there any specific information that says the person is local or from far away? No. Could this be a stranger crime? That's a possibility. Could this be somebody that knew that the girls were going to be there at that time? That's a possibility. Nothing is off the table.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The only thing I would add is where the FBI can come involved, and if it does lead interstate or multi-jurisdictionally, we have that capability to stretch it further outside of this immediate community across the state or across state lines.
Let's go one at a time. I'll let you do your follow-up, then I'll come to you. What's your follow? Go ahead and do your follow-up.
How long after Liberty posted to social media did this crime happen? Did the murders happen immediately after, or was there a time for someone to see them on social media and then meet them on that trail?
As a special, we know that there are going to be lots of questions that we specifically cannot answer because there are things that we do not want to tip our hand to the person responsible for this. That kind of information we're keeping close to ourselves. Is it reasonable to think that that's an area, one of two things happen. That was a chance encounter. That's possible. Don't think it's likely, but it's possible.
Don't think it's likely?
That person knew that they were going to be there. That's possible as well. Those are things that.
And now they're saying there's possibilities and he's giving his opinion. Like, where, like, to me, this bothers me. It really does. Like, I don't want to hear, like, possibilities and from you and, like, your opinions, Mr. Officer. I want to hear facts about the case. And we're now 25 minutes in. We have no information about the case. It's been all pulling at heartstrings, you know, getting the fear porn, getting the public all worked up. And we've heard nothing about the case. Why do these press conferences if you're not even going to release any information to help with, you know, and like Red said, at this point they're looking for a washing machine. The audio was awful. And yeah, it was, I don't even know what I was listening to. And then Steffa said that this original audio clip, you can't hear anything, and they later released a different audio clip where you can hear something. Why not release the entire audio clip? Why do they do this in snippets? To me, that's another one of those red flags to look out for. Not saying this was orchestrated. It could be 100% real. But I'm starting to see things with this case that I really don't like. It's just, I don't like this police department so far. I don't like what's going on here with the propaganda and whatnot. And the fact that they have told us absolutely nothing going 25 minutes into this press conference.
So we're looking into. Question over here. Similar to what I just said, there's
it's over
specific
200,000 now. Wow.
That we're not discussing. The best example that I can give you is if somebody is a victim of a burglary and then they're murdered, everybody wants to know how they were murdered. If we go into the details and we say they were stabbed twice in the back and they were shot in the head, then everybody hears that. And then when we get tips, people tell us that, and the tip is useless. We're keeping information that will only be known by...
Okay, now here makes sense. That makes sense. You don't want to, like, get about any too many facts, because if you have to interrogate the suspect or whatever, they could, you know, they just throw the whole case off. To me, that makes sense. But I'm still not... I'm not liking the vibe that I'm getting from this police department right now.
By the person or by who that person told. And when that's shared with us, it will set off the alarm bells and we'll know.
Kathy, based upon what you have and other investigators have seen of this crime, do you believe this individual has killed before, and what makes you believe he would do it?
There's someone by the name of Lee Kerr, as in leaker, that have leaked a lot of the info. Are you serious, Steffa? Lee Kerr? And they're the ones that leak the text messages? See, that's the kind of stuff that that's very interesting to me, for sure. But again, it's too early to say anything right now. That's why we're going to go down this rabbit hole together.
Greg, I'll let Agent Massa address that.
There has been no indication
All
right now
speculation?
that
Okay,
this is
Steph,
part of
yeah.
a serial murder, if that's what your question is. So as of the facts that we have collected at this point in time, we have not tied it to any other known homicides.
We have other information that we're not sharing, and specific to your question, Raphael, keep in mind that there the likeliness, the possibility of more than one person. We're not saying that the voice that you heard is the same as this person here. This is all very complicated, very involved, and as much as we would like to tell you everything, more importantly, we want to solve the crime. That could be or could not be. The audio is also from Liberty's phone. So again, she had the presence of mind to have the phone on and to capture video as well as audio.
How do they know that she had the presence of mind to capture this audio? How do they know that she just didn't have the phone on because she was taking pictures of Abby? Like, how are they? That's speculation. This is the problem. This is what I have a problem with. How do they know that she was smart enough to do that? Not saying that she's not a smart kid, but she wasn't there to tell them. She's not there to tell them anymore that that's what she did. That she had the mindset to record this guy, the suspicious guy that they saw. Like, maybe her phone was just recording. Maybe it was already, video for her Snapchat or whatever. Like, to me, this is speculation, and I don't want to hear speculation from law enforcement. I want to hear facts.
No, I can't. That is a loop that we played 4 times for purposes for you to hear it. No, there's nothing I can speak to about the scene investigation and collection of evidence. Yes, and thank you for asking that, Paris. To clarify, the image that you're looking at here came from Liberty's phone.
Is it longer? Are you holding some that you can see how he walks? Is there any more of this image of this suspect?
There's nothing that we are prepared to release at this time. No, I can't say that because we weren't there. We know that voice was captured from her cell phone. We know this image was captured from her cell phone. Keep in mind, all of you are in the television business. What do you see out of the TV? You see this. You don't see what's over here. You don't see what's over here. So there's lots more that we're looking at.
I agree with that. So that's something I do agree with. One of the things.
As I indicated before, the reason we believe this is a suspect is based on the totality of the evidence that we've gathered thus far. That has led us to believe this is the person that at least participated in the murders of Liberty German and Abigail Williams. we're not going to release that part of the information, but it did come from her phone, which entails that even though we enhanced it, it's the best we have. That's the image we're giving. And just because you and I do not recognize that photo, there, as indicated earlier, a person that works with what appears to be a male white in that photo might recognize him. Again, a family member might recognize that. Unfortunately, it's the best we have, and that's what we're going to go
That's
with
okay,
at
Allison.
this time. If
No
we
problem.
decide to go other routes later, we'll let you know. This young lady's a hero, there's no doubt. To have enough presence of mind to activate the video system on her cell phone to record.
How do they know that? How do they know that she had enough presence of mind, again, to, I'm not law enforcement. Maybe they had a way of knowing that. I don't, because they have more information on the video, but from what you're, like, I'm getting speculation from them. I'm getting opinions from them. But it's difficult because they're not releasing all of the footage. Why are they releasing, like, it's been 4 years now. Does anybody know in chat if they've released the entire audio footage yet? Or video footage? Not audio footage, but the audio recording and the video footage that they're saying that they have more of. I'd be curious to watch that footage if it has been released. But if it hasn't, why not? Going on 4 years now. I mean, they're obviously not getting anywhere. How is that helping anybody if they don't release all of the footage? I don't know. I just don't like what I'm seeing so far with this case.
Record what we believe is criminal behavior that is about to occur. As far as the first part of your question, that's something we're going to keep close to the vest as part of our investigation. But there is no doubt in our minds that young lady is a hero. Well, unfortunately, when you're in the law enforcement business, there are crimes that occur in this nature. As far as the time frame.
Hey, Ginger.
And
No, they
things in my
haven't. Okay,
experience,
thank you.
Are unique to my career, but there are a lot of smart people standing behind me that will probably have a different answer. But again, rest assured, we're using our resources to put the person and or persons that murdered Liberty German and Abigail Williams into our jail here in Carroll County.
The only thing that I want to add to that is all of you have more questions than we can answer here today without compromising the case. I think we all can agree there's one thing we want to do. We want to capture the person or persons responsible for this crime. We wanted to get the audio clip out to you. We wanted to confirm to you where that image came from. We've accomplished those two things here today. We encourage you to play that audio to your audiences frequently over the days to come so that we can develop a tip to that tip line or to the email address that I gave you or to the website information that will be on the State Police website at 10:45. At this time, we're going to conclude the news conference. Thank you all very much for coming.
Okay. So I didn't like anything in that news conference whatsoever. I just didn't like what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. So Steffa says, no, they have not released all the footage because part of the crime was recorded. Okay. And so to me, that makes sense as well. You know, you don't want to compromise the investigation. And, you know, I'm still learning about this whole case, but as far as like the investigation goes, does anybody know what's going on with that? It's still an open investigation or an ongoing investigation, right? It's not a cold case or anything. And yeah, right. And they should, because what's the point of doing to me, I felt like that was a lot of wasted time. It was 32 minutes long and we got maybe 2 minutes, if that, of information. The rest of it was all pulling at heartstrings and fear porn. And I really do not like that guy in the tie and the suit to the right of him. He bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. And his smirk when he said it wasn't TV. It's just, it was all theater to me. It was all just very unnecessary information coming from law enforcement. I feel like, again, that it should be, here's the fact. Like, this conference didn't have to be as long as it was. You know, it didn't need to be 30. It could have been a 10-minute news conference or press conference with play the audio clip, tell us the facts, and that's it. But it was thrown in with a whole bunch of that just really pulling at people's emotions. And I don't agree with that as far as law enforcement goes. I want to hear facts. I don't want you to tell me how sad the case is. People don't need to know. People know that death, especially of children, are very, very sad. And they're just pushing it more. Yeah, literally nothing, Red. I agree. So that's really all I have for right now. I'm obviously going to do some more research, be a little bit more prepared next time, watch some more videos, get to know some of the inconsistencies that's going on with the case. If I can figure out my microphone issue, I would love to have TCA and, Steffa come on if you ladies are interested in doing that. I don't know why my microphone won't work with StreamYard. I'm using a different, streaming source right now. I'm using OBS. I like it so much better than StreamYard, but when I use OBS, I don't have a way of having guests come on. I mean, I do, but my computer is a brick and it's old and it's duct taped together and it's just very slow. So, but the last time I did a StreamYard, I used StreamYard to do my stream. My microphone was cutting in and out, and it was just really bad. I have no problem with my microphone on OBS, so it's got to be a StreamYard thing. So, like I said, I will research this case more. I would love to hear more of your guys' research and opinions on it. Very interesting case indeed, but it's it's definitely going to be a rabbit hole. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you. I appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you for the super chat, Pink Dahlia. I really appreciate it. Never necessary. Thank you, Matt, for becoming a member. And I also wanted to thank, while I'm thinking about it, anybody that's, if you're listening, that's donated to the Cash App to me since I've started streaming. I really, really appreciate it. It's hard for me to give shout outs for Cash App because sometimes it's your real names, and then I can't connect it to your names on YouTube. So I don't know, I don't want to use anyone's real names to thank you. So I just want to say in general, anybody that has sent me Cash App donations, I really, really appreciate it. And it does help greatly. So, and again, donations are not necessary. I just appreciate everyone's support and for being here just in general. So thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you guys on the next stream. I don't know if it's going to be Delphi. I don't know if it's going to be Christopher Watts. I don't know if it's going to be a combination, but I will be doing more of these live streams in the future. So again, thank you everyone for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.